Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paddock Podcast. Joining me are two of my favourite Manchester United fans. One half of the Scotty and Motty podcast, Mr. David Scott. Our kid, how we doing?
I'm not jet lagged, is all I'm doing, Jay. Because I didn't get invited to the United States tour.
You know what's annoying about the whole jet lag thing? You had Joe telling me that jet lag didn't exist.
Listen,
How's
he's
Joe
not
doing?
jet lagged, but someone who is jet lagged is Ronaldo Brown, who spent the entire US tour. We'll get into it straight away. Trying to get on American time, didn't you? You tried your best. You said, right, I'm going to get myself so my body's in tune with the American time. And you sort of got there the day before we left.
The day before we came back?
Yeah, because I was saying to Scott, you'd be out with Ronnie, right? And he'd be like this. And then you turn.
10 o'clock by the way.
Yeah, 10 o'clock is like Cinderella. You turn and you turn back to him and he'd be like that. And you're like, someone spiked him or something. What's happened?
Well, I won't spike, but...
You're right. No, say no more. Yeah. Allow it. But first of all, well done for holding the fort.
Yeah, it was
3 o'clock kickoffs and all that.
I think 4, one of them.
4 o'clock, wow.
Was it challenging?
Hey, which game was that?
That was the Wrexham game as well.
Oh,
what
game that was?
So long, I know, yeah. I didn't know any player on either side of the pitch.
I was at that game. I think I lost it as well. I was on my own. And
you got right.
Yeah.
Can I just say this as well? This is just Ronaldo Brown all over.
Yeah.
Right. We had 2 tickets, that we had spare, but we had a bit of a mix-up. Basically, long story short, Nicole had given them to John Shin and his mate. So Ronnie was going to have one of them. Nicole comes to me. He's gone, I've just realised I've promised them tickets to John Shin and his pal. I was like, right, no worries. We'll get Ronnie a ticket. So we've all like these Wrexham, all these United fans in like this what do they call it? Tailgate in the car park ahead of the game. Literally, the first United fan I saw when he stood next to me, I went, do you know anyone's got a spare ticket? He went, who's it for? I went, it's for him. He went, yeah, I've got him one. I went, how much? He went, it's free. Right, okay, that's that matter dealt with, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But then you wandered off, and I was like, don't forget who he is, because you don't even know who that guy is. Because I saw you walk off, and then I saw you thinking
it was a massive predicament. I got there in the end, and I got there late because at first when he went there, they didn't like make him the tickets work. So I think I got to the game 15 minutes late. I didn't really miss much.
No.
But it was the fact that I went in there and it was 90% Wrexham fans.
It was mad, wasn't it?
But it was all like, I think, was it Wrexham fans or was it Ryan Reynolds fans?
It was Ryan Reynolds fans.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah, and the weird thing about that game was, right, like, they were all very vocal, all these Wrexham in inverted comma fans. So they were booing Nathan Bishop when he took out Paul Mullins. He was cheering when he scored. But obviously, if you, like, I was cheering for United, or not like going mad or anything, but when something happened, like, go on or whatever, but they joined in with you. So like, if
had no idea.
Yeah,
like,
if like Dan Gore or whoever went free, you go on, son, go on, have a dig, and we're like, go on. Like, they join in with you because you think they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then like, I think we scored, didn't we?
Yeah.
3-1. Like when we scored, me and the lad I was with celebrating.
Yeah.
And some of the people in Wrexham shirts were celebrating. And then,
oh wait, that's wrong goal.
Yeah, and then it made me laugh because they swapped ends. Nathan Bishop was the pantomime villain. He was getting booed. We swapped ends obviously at the second half. Nathan Bishop had come off. And we weren't even on the pitch, but they were booing the Wrexham keeper because he was now in the position where Nathan Bishop had been.
So they didn't even know that
No.
I'd have been having some fun with that.
So this poor kid who plays for Wrexham was getting booed because they were all like fuming with him for injuring Paul Mullins. It was just mad. But Wrexham like played a bit of a blinder because when you got there, we got to the ground like early and we got to meet the United fans because we were doing like a tailgate. And I'm sure you all know, but I didn't. This is like where everyone's out in the car park with the barbecues and beers and all that stuff. Anyway, we went to go and find it. We got there and it was like a Wrexham home game. There was all like, they had all these food trucks, didn't they, doing free Welsh food, like Welsh rarebit and all this. People giving out like just Wrexham paraphernalia. And then there was a Wrexham stand selling Wrexham shirts and the queue was huge. Honestly, bro. And then obviously when, Wrexham scored whatever, everyone was going mad. But what made me laugh about that, I don't know if you saw it, I presume you did when you covered it, like the pre-match build-up, the national anthem and all that. Did you see that?
We've seen bits of it. Didn't have the sound on, obviously.
It was unreal, right? Because obviously they love the national anthem and things like that. But it was the most American thing I've ever seen in my life because you had someone who's a officer in the Navy, this woman in a Navy outfit.
Yeah.
She was singing the national anthem. You had an American flag on the pitch. It came out onto the pitch. They timed it so when she finished, a plane appeared.
I
flew overhead.
Yeah.
They said this is what was going to happen, and then fireworks appeared. It was like I can't believe this is a Wrexham game. This is absolutely bonkers, isn't it? It was mad. And like, I didn't really care. Obviously, I don't want United to lose, but I wasn't going to lose any sleep over.
And it's some naval place near to the San Diego.
Yeah, that's it. But it was weird because like we've seen a couple of people in like City and Liverpool tops and all that. Like I've never, you know what I mean? I've never seen that unless it's been at obviously United versus City or Liverpool. It was really weird, but it was an opener. And to be fair, they put on a good show, didn't they?
Yeah,
the right, like you say, the Ryan Reynolds fans enjoyed it because loads of them. You could say
he didn't even turn up.
No, he didn't today. Well, someone said he was in London. Yeah, when they were over there, which was bonkers. But they enjoyed. And to Wrexham, it was a club that I think they were in danger, weren't they, a few years ago, going under, absolutely flying. And there's a small little pocket of San Diego.
They got battered 5-3 yesterday, Wrexham.
Yeah, they did.
Didn't
they have like Hugh Jackman and that watching him? It's so weird, isn't it? Like, what is going on here? How is this happening?
Social experiment.
It is a social experiment. Get involved in the comments in the chat. This podcast is going to ostensibly be about predictions. So that's the gist of it, but it will go down whatever avenue we want to go down. So we're going to give our predictions for how United are going to do this season in terms of Premier League finish, in terms of the trophies. We'll get into which players you think are going to do well, who's going to be our top scorer, who's going to be the sign in the summer. Obviously, it's a prediction. Should we do what do they call it? A predictions amnesty.
Prediction amnesty.
Yeah, you know you can say anything, even if it's daft and no one will against you.
Now you can do that.
All right, then. We'll try that because I think no matter what happens, you're gonna get clips up, aren't you?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Even if you say, like, listen, this is a safe space to share. You can say whatever you want, free from judgment. But we all know that this is gonna get clips up if any of us say anything like, you know, I think Hojlund will score 5 goals and he scores 50. Do you know what I mean? We all know how this works. This isn't our first rodeo. Loads of people in the chat and the comments. I'm going to get into it. Witterbird says good afternoon. She also says, wasn't the Wrexham game sponsored by Disney Plus? I don't even know if that's a joke or if it was. I don't know. It might have been. 20 Legend says 20 years old, coming to a new league. He's going to take time. Talking about Hojlund, of course. Everyone getting very excited about Hojlund. Jace Parker says, afternoon, Jay. Miss you so much, mate. Thank you. Always good to see you in the chat. Daniel Berry says, be bold with your predictions. Yes, fortune favours the bold. I like that. So let's do it. George Jones says, yes, my 3 fave lads are on.
That's nice.
I hope you don't say that all the time. I hope that's sincere.
I reckon he says that whatever arrangement's on.
Yeah, even when there's 2 people there.
Probably.
I just want to mention something quickly before we move on to our predictions about the whole sort of reserves, fringe team, whatever you want to call it, playing in some of these friendlies, because some people are a bit miffed about it. I was chatting to a lad on Instagram yesterday who was at the Dublin game, and he said that the Dublin game was announced, United playing Athletic Bilbao, in Dublin was announced before the Lons game. So people thought that was going to be a one-off, game where you're going to see the first team, and then 2 weeks later, I think they announced the Lons game. I didn't realise that, because on the watch along, I was like, well, what did you expect, sort of thing, and he was saying, they felt like it had been stitched up a bit. So kind of sympathise with that. If you're getting a ticket and you think, this is it, I'm going to go and see United, it's going to be the first team, and then they announced another game the day before at Old Trafford, which you know is probably going to be the one where they're playing the big guns. So it is a little bit frustrating. I kind of do sympathise with people out, because I think the Wrexham game was a bit different. I think they always knew for the Wrexham game it was going to be the second string. Yeah. I think they even had like Johnny Evans on the poster or something.
Yeah, it was common knowledge before the game.
Yeah, so I think it's different. So I do feel sorry for the fans there that felt a little bit stitched up. But you did get to see, who was it? Ericsson, Sancho, Wan-Bissaka. There you go. There's some first teamers for you. Some good young players as well. It's just a bit of a shame that Kobe Mainoo got injured, isn't it? That was the one.
That is one of the biggest negatives, because honest to God,
the biggest negative pre-season.
Watching her against Arsenal, that looked like a kid that looked ready.
Do you hate Arsenal?
Huh?
Is it you that hates Arsenal?
I fucking despise them.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can like Arsenal.
I don't like bold.
I don't know. No, boy. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Listen, boy, it's one of those where I watched him in that game, and then I thought, Kobe Mainoo literally looks like someone who might not just be someone that's knocking on a door, getting the occasional bit part game. He looked like he could challenge for a starting place.
He played so well that game.
He looked so confident as well. He just like he was supposed to be there.
I looked at him and I thought he looks like he could be like a proper, serious, contending like member of the squad, especially in a midfield area that isn't like a sure thing anyway. In the United team, have you got Casemiro, who's 1 year older? You've got Mount, who we still need to see if that's going to work out the way you want it to work. You've obviously got Bruno, who's a mainstay. But outside of that, you got like Fred, you got McTominay, and you've got people that you aren't sure about. Do you know what I mean? Or people that are on the chopping block, so to speak. So I thought Kobe Mainoo looked like he could be someone.
Do you think that sort of affects the? Is it Amrabat we're looking at Fiorentina? Because
you'd
have thought with Mainoo, if he'd not got injured, that might have could have pushed him. Obviously, we need to sell someone to try and get him in, because it's similar defensive midfielder, isn't it?
I think we would have got Amrabat. I think we'd have got Amrabat anyway.
Do you reckon? Is that going to happen anyway? Yeah.
I think Amrabat's also a player where, if he's signed, then he's gonna, out of all the signings we've done so far, he's gonna be the most low key one.
Yeah.
But he could almost end up being the most important one.
Really?
I actually honestly think that.
You think he's that good?
I think,
or just that important.
I think in terms of not even just individually, I just feel like systematically, I think with the over reliance on Casemiro in that defensive midfield role and no one else that can really play that.
Yeah.
The games week in, week out, and the consistency levels that that are more difficult to have, especially when you're at Casemiro's age. And obviously his disciplinary record. I think someone like an Amrabat could come into that, especially if you lose Fred and McTominay, where he could end up being, even though he might be the most low-key signing, throughout the season he could end up being one of the most vital ones, even more so than Mount, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can kind of get that. I mean, I think for me, I think the big signing was the goalkeeper. I know we need a striker, but I just feel like
goalkeeper,
Onana was such a... You can see it already, how everything's changed. It just felt like there was a massive shift as soon as he started playing for us in the way we were playing, and just the confidence he has. I know people were digging him out for that goal he conceded against Lons, but I don't think it was that bad, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's true. And obviously, when I've been watching the games in pre-season, it also looks like it's materialised with that midfield three of Casemiro, Bruno and Mount the way you kind of expected it to, where it still isn't very like volume passing, possession based of a midfield three in it. Everything's very like vertical and and I don't know whether, and that's what we wanted to get away from. Obviously, United have been one of the better transitional teams in probably Europe in the past couple of years. So it's not something we wanted to necessarily get away from, but we also wanted to start to control games more if you want to get onto that next level. I don't know if you can control games much from what I've seen so far with the midfield three of Casemiro, Bruno and Mount. There's a lot of quality in it, a lot of ability in it, but it remains to be seen how well it gels in that way.
It'll be interesting to see. I'll get in some comments. Ryan J, welcome to the first team. Thanks for joining the membership. There's some extra content on the membership section, including vlogs and behind-the-scenes look at our trip to the United States of America. Jerome T. Green in the super chat says, on Arsenal, the Carabao Cup is apparently tiny, but the Charity Shield is a massive trophy in England. That fan base is tragic. Do you know what? I agree. They were all calling it the Energy Drink Cup, and no, it don't matter. And all United fans getting gassed because they've won an Energy Drink trophy and all this, like it's not a major trophy when it is.
I think all Arsenal fans bantered Liverpool last year when they celebrated the Community Shield.
Right, exactly. They're just hypocrites, aren't they? And then it's like I've never, ever thought of the Community Shield or Charity Shield, whatever you call it, as a trophy. In my opinion, and you may disagree, David Moyes did not win a trophy at Manchester United Football Club. No. I've said that. I was at that game and I said it. Like, that just didn't happen. It's not a trophy, it's a friendly. But listen, if you want a day out and all that, we've all done it. Nothing wrong with that. But some of the reaction to it was just bizarre. Fergal McClement says, I don't mind watching the second string in Ireland. I'm happy. It's all part of plan rather than playing half and half to pacify fans in both games. Yeah, I do get that idea. I think that's my strongest team. I'm going to play that and I'm going to sort of get them used to playing with each other. Makes a lot of sense. I think you're sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't, aren't you? If you're at Ten Hag. But I don't know about you lads, but if you haven't heard already, it's smooth sack summer. When you're playing in the summer sun, make sure you're scaped from pubes to bum. Hey, do you like that? I'm a rapper and you didn't even realise. That's right. This is the summer to keep your balls cool. We needed that in Vegas. It was 42 degrees. Wow. 42 degrees in the shade. That's why I stayed out of the shade and stayed in the sun. I'm not stupid. The leaders in below the waist grooming, Manscaped, have got you covered, and they'll make sure you have a smooth sack summer. You get 20% off and free shipping using the code Devils20, old school, Devils20. Because what do you get for that? I know what you're thinking, Jay. Devils20, okay, got that. 20% off free shipping. All right, what are you going to give me for that? You get everything. You get the lawnmower 4.0. You get the skin with the skin safe technology. You get the crop reviver, the crop toner. You get the crop preserver ball deodorant as well. You get this Manscaped boxer briefs. Don't forget as well, the lawnmower 4.0 it's got that 7,000 RPM motor. You need that. Plus, the thing that I love about it, it's got the multifunctional on-off button. Because how many times do you want to turn something on and it's already on and you can't turn it off? It annoys me, it infuriates me. This has got the multifunctional button. Plus, you put all that in your shed travel bag, you look like you're getting off the coach and you're part of the team and all that jazz, yeah? And they've even thrown in the Shears 2.0. And if all that's not enough, you've got the weed whacker, because men of a certain age like me get that nose and ear hair. Well, Manscaped got you covered. You can join some of the 8 million men worldwide, right, who trust Manscaped. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but 8 million men, I think that's quite a lot. That's probably about half the planet. So go and check out the link in the description. Use the code DEVILS20. It's Smooth Sack Summer, boys. Get on board or get left behind. Big thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this podcast. Right, enough for this. Let's get down to business, yeah? Predictions. Where are Manchester United going to finish in the Premier League? Scotty, talk to me. Some would say you're a cynic, some would say you're a realist. Where are we going to finish?
Not top. I think we'll finish second this season.
Wow.
I don't think we'll catch it. If Hojlund starts scoring from his first game, and that is me being really optimistic, so I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on that lad, then I think we could finish second. And I don't think Arsenal would be the team they were last year.
No.
I can't see them reaching lofty heights. There's far too much work to do for the likes of Chelsea, Liverpool. I think they'll improve, but I don't think to the level of United. I think, sorry, producer Ethan, I think Newcastle will fall off massively due to the Champions League.
Do you know what he said?
Impact.
Nonsense.
Nonsense.
Ethan says nonsense.
Nonsense and turned his mic off. But yeah, me being optimistic, I think United will finish second next year.
Second?
Yep. Well, on the basis that if I'm Ten Hag, we said this last year, is that I'd rather he prioritise certain cups, because he seemed to go at one point where we were on 4 cups last year. I'd preferred like just play. You
do it for everything, didn't he?
Yeah, and I appreciate that sort of chutzpah, but I'd rather sort of.
Love that. Such a wordsmith. Second, we've not finished second for what, 3 seasons?
In the COVID season, was it?
Yeah, I think so. The Ollie second season.
Does that count? Because if it counts, it means Liverpool really won the league.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
we finished second with an asterisk.
That's the argument I used.
Yeah, we finished second with an asterisk.
That's because there was a bit of gap to first as well.
Yeah. Just a bit. That's how we've done it though. We finished second a couple of times post Fergie, haven't we? Once under Ollie, once under Jose. Never in danger of winning the league. Do you think it's going to be one of those? If we do finish second, it's going to be like we're a distant second.
I don't know, because City have signed some decent players, but they've also let a few go. I know that old heads in Gundogan and Mahrez, and they're bringing new players in. So it depends if that transition with their new players coming in and that's going to work.
Yeah.
You know, if Haaland gets an injury, I don't know how that's going to affect there. But I'd like it to be close.
Yeah,
I'd like it to be. I'm not too sure if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Go on, Ronnie. Where do you see United finishing the Premier League? Scotty's got second, which is pretty much about as ambitious as I've heard anyone be.
I was thinking, I was hovering around that, but I don't think we'll finish second. I think.
So what is coming?
I think 3rd or 4th region. So I'm going to pick one. I'm going to be more positive, and I'm going to say 3rd.
Wow.
I thought before pre-season, knows how much stock you can put into it. Apparently Liverpool haven't looked too great. I thought Liverpool might come back in a big way, and they'd be the ones that challenge City and not Arsenal. But I think there's a chance we could see the same top 2 again.
Really?
I'm just going off watching Arsenal yesterday. I still think City are better than them.
Yeah.
But I think they aren't going to necessarily drop off from last season.
Okay.
I think they'll be around the same, but I think everyone else will either improve or City might kick on again. But I think it's going to be City and Arsenal, unfortunately, that maybe challenge again with a wild card of the likes of Liverpool if they get their act together. And I think we'll be the next ones where it'll be 3rd or 4th region. I'm not sure though, because this is what's got me nervous, because I think Chelsea will be dangerous because they don't have any European football.
Right. What did Saliba play yesterday?
Yeah, he did. He was really good.
I think he makes a difference for them. Honestly, I know that's not a revelation. He got injured and he dropped, so they fell off a cliff. It's like the most obvious statement ever. But he's such a good defender, and I don't think the others are anywhere near as good as him. They big him all up, don't they? Oh, Gabriel, he's mint. No, he's not. Sorry, Gabriel Magalhaes. He's mint. No, he's not. Though,
yeah.
He's okay. Do you know what I mean? I think the fullbacks are all right. I don't think they're that good, but he's a massive player for him.
Because Chelsea might be signing Caicedo and Vlahovic as well in the next couple of weeks.
You're not a fan of Vlahovic, are you?
No, I'm a fan. I think he's a good player. I just don't think he's had a good stint at Juve.
Right, okay.
But I think with them two signings, with some of the good youngsters that they've signed, and the fact that you don't have European football, I'm more inclined to actually believe of what I've seen, because it looked like, obviously Liverpool have lost Henderson, they've lost Fabinho, they've lost some characters in the dressing room and brought in more young players. They still don't look like
Milner
they can.
as well,
Yeah,
has he
Milner.
gone? I know,
Milner's
I know
gone.
you're not talking about in terms of the quality of play, but characters.
I feel like they aren't defending transitions as well. Still, I believe that if anything, I'm gonna predict that United finish 4th, and I think the top 3 will be City, Arsenal, and Chelsea. I think Chelsea will have a strong league campaign, similarly to the way that Arsenal did, because they don't have any other European football to contend with, where it's just full week of training, league game, and that's a massive factor. Because I think the last time that Chelsea had that, they won the league, didn't they, under Conte?
That was after Jose left, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it probably was.
So
because Jose had a horror show, didn't he, in his second season?
Yeah.
Or his second season and his second stint there.
So I think that could. I think that will be the top 4.
Season,
Yeah.
Predicting 4 for us and 3rd Chelsea. The top 2 will be Arsenal and City. Well, City and Arsenal.
It's weird with Arsenal.
Yeah, I was going to say with that logic though, do you not think, because Arsenal sort of pulled out of the Europa League, didn't they, when they were in it last season to concentrate on the league? But with them having Champions League football, do you not think that'll play into it? Or they sort of
They've added
invested
squad depth,
that's
though.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, they've added squad depth though. The only way that Arsenal drop off is if Arsenal, as a club, because they've never won the Champions League, if they prioritise the Champions League more.
So then, get a scent of it.
So they get the scent of it.
I've said this a million times. I think that I think you've got a better chance of winning the Champions League if you're someone like Arsenal. And I think the same for us. I think teams in the past, I know that sounds cracky to go, I can say that, Jay, we won 13 Premier League titles and 2 Champions Leagues during that time. But look at some of the teams that have won the Champions League. Liverpool finished 5th and won the Champions League in 2005.
Yeah.
They finished 3rd, I think, or 4th. No, was it 4th under Klopp? And they won the Champions League. Chelsea finished 6th twice, I think, and they won the Champions League. You can win a Champions League and not be even in the top 3 or 4 in your country. To win the league, you've got to be the best, and you week in, week out. But sometimes, if you've got a good 11 or a good 12 or 13, and you can stay injury free for those big games,
Get a fortunate draw.
It can happen. Do you remember when we got to the final? I think on the way there, who was it when Manuel was in net for him? Was it Wolfsburg or Schalke? I was getting mixed up in 2011, I think it was. But we had this route to the final, which was just so Schalke, sorry. It was so easy. I think we might have played Chelsea, and that was the only team we had that was of note. It's like, hang on a minute, we're in the Champions League final there.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, we got our backsides handed to us by Barcelona, but we got there. You see, Spurs. I mean, I know they had to have that epic game against Ajax. Spurs got to the Champions League final and finished nowhere. So I know they didn't win it, but it's doable. So I get what you're saying. I think if Arsenal, because that's the big thing they've never done, isn't it? They've won loads of trophies. They've never won the Champions League. If they get into the knockout stages and they've got decisions to make, I won't blame Arteta if he went, do you know what, go for it in the Champions League, because not only, we never.
Then they might take the eye off the ball a little bit in the Premier League games.
Yeah.
And in the Premier League, you can't afford to do that. So you could slip up any week doing that.
So you've gone. Where did you go for United?
I've gone 4th.
You've gone 4th. You've gone
second.
Do you know what? I'll split the difference and I'll go 3rd. I'd love to sit here and go 21 is coming, and we'll get into some of the comments. Yeah. I do feel we've improved. I feel that bringing in a new goalkeeper, I love David De Gea, but I think it was time for him to move on. I think Onana makes a big difference. Bringing in a striker helps as well, because Martial has just become basically useless, and until, well, he had some games at the beginning and some games at the end, but in the sort of 3 quarters of the season in between, he was just injured all the time, so you can't rely on him. I think Mason Mount, I'm warming to that signing. I wasn't a mad fan before when we were linked with him, but Ten Hag wants him. There's a reason behind it. You can see the talents he's got. And I think if we do bring in Amrabat, and if Mainoo does get some games as well, they'll be useful players for United. So I think it's going to be tough, but I think, we can finish there or thereabouts. I don't see us really challenging for the title. I think maybe we might be in sort of a bit of the conversation going into sort of March, and then it's one of them where you go in, look, we're not really going to win the league. We've got to focus on other things. And like you say, he does like his cup competitions, doesn't he, Eric Ten Hag? He's always been like that.
Yeah, he's great at knockout
Ajax
competitions,
and at Manchester United as well. So it'll be interesting to see what what he does. Is he going to go for it in the league? Is he going to go for it in all the cups? Is he going to prioritise in the Champions League? Is he going to try and sort of get that early trophy with the Carabao? How's he going to sort of cut his cloth? Get involved in the comments and let us know what you think. Where do you think Manchester United are going to finish? First of all, as well, you can hit the like button. There's over 1,700 or 1,600 people watching, and there's 150 likes, which is a disgrace. Let's get...
Disgrace.
It's terrible. Sweaty Legend says, I feel we've improved, but so has the rest of the Premier League. This is the thing. You can improve and not finish third. You can improve and finish lower than you did last season.
You only know how much you've improved on when the Premier League started, because it's great having all these new signings, and United have had them as have many other clubs. But like the proof's in the pudding, really, and it's all hypothetical. How many times have we had a great pre-season where we've signed the likes of Di Maria, Schweinsteiger, and we thought we were going to be brilliant getting into the season? We've not really improved that much. We bought a lot of players past the sell-by date or who didn't want to be there. Yeah. So you don't really know how much they've improved. What I can see is that the players that we've got that were there last season, there's still scope for them to improve. The likes of Sancho, Garnacho's going to have a better season, Palestri again.
Yeah.
Anthony, I expect to have a better season. He did decent numbers last year. So I'm not just looking at players that we're bringing in this summer. It's also the improvement that from the ones last year that can build on what they've already done.
We have got, you almost forget that, don't you? I've got some good young players at United. Yeah. Like you mentioned there, Anthony's still only young.
He's 21.
I
think the average age of our front four, if it's like 22, 23.
You know what I mean? So it'd be interesting what happens with Marcus as well, because he had a very, very good season last season. Can he emulate that? If he can, then we're laughing. Donald Walcott says second. Ten Hag's son says second. Ryan Fester Riga says second. We're as good as Arsenal. Jordan Clark says second in the FA Cup. We'll get to the trophies in a minute. Adrian Malamu says second. Champions League first. Premier League till the end. Okay. KF Aposse says Eric Ten Hag needs to put his ruthless hat on and call Martial in and take his number off him. Right, he's ruthless. Is that what is that?
I keep forgetting Martial's here,
That says it all, that, doesn't it? Hey, do you know what I mean? Keep forgetting he's our number 9. Or, well, is he our number 9?
Yeah, he's got the number 9 shirt.
Yeah, I mean...
Has he?
Yeah, because Hojlund's not got it, has he?
What's Hojlund got?
Yeah, you haven't
given him a number.
Right. They're waiting to sell Martial.
They're waiting.
Yeah.
Is it waiting to sell Martial, or the United just anticipate there being some movement in the transfer window in the
You'd think as well that we want to
because he's not available for a little bit as well.
You think as well we expect to sell at least another 3 or 4 players. Like there's big noises about Van der Beek got a Real Sociedad. That looks like something's going to happen. Your boy Fred, unfortunately, Scott, it looks like he's going because he's got quite a lot of suitors and
people saying they're giving him 17, but that's still Fred's number and he's still here.
Yeah, I mean you can't just give him yet. I don't think.
Maybe you can though, because numbers can change. Yeah. Have they released the new squad numbers for this season? Did Fred still have 17? Then it's different.
Yeah. Abinam Verma says we're winning the league. Wow, fair enough. Let's go for it.
Because when I said off the ball with Arsenal,
couldn't
City have the same thing with them winning everything last year, where they're not as motivated.
The thing is, I remember
maybe that's a good point. Yeah,
it happened with us a little bit, but we were so good. We just won the league.
Everybody else was terrible, wasn't it?
They were,
and I think that's the reason we sort of did that.
If you look at the team we had, I think it was Sheringham suddenly started playing a lot more and steps up a bit more than he had done. I know he played obviously no big games, but he hadn't played week in, week out. Yapstam was still immense. Then the season after that, even they kept that momentum going. I don't know. I'm struggling to see past here. I get what you're saying about they've lost some important players, and yes, motivation can be a thing, but they've got such a strong squad, and I think like they've mixed it up again a little bit when they brought in some players like Kovacic and is it the kid? How do you say his name? Gvardiol, yeah, Gvardiol. So they've brought in some decent players. They have got some good youngsters coming through. The lad who scored yesterday at Cole Palmer. So it's horrible to think this and say this. I don't see City winning it.
How important is the start to a campaign? Because I think we play City 5 games in, don't we? I think is it the first week in September? Or
I had the fixtures up here. I'll give you our first.
Because last year, if you look at how bad United started compared to where we ended up, I don't think anyone expected us to finish, third after that.
Going into our Liverpool game,
Brentford and
I thought if we
Brighton
lose this, I thought you could get sacked. Do you know what I mean? I thought he could. If he loses his first 3 games and one of them's a 4-0 loss away to Brentford, the other one's at home to the Scousers, he's in big trouble.
Yeah.
People were always saying, is it going to be another De Boer tackle? Do you know what I mean? He went to Palace, didn't he? Lost his first 5 games and got sacked. In answer to your question, Scotty, first game, Wolves at home. Right, let's go through it. Wolves at home, beat them, easy. Spurs away, yeah, we'll do them. Forest at home, easy. Arsenal away, overrated, we'll do them. Then we're top of the league, and then that's plain sailing then. Then we've got Brighton at home, Burnley away, Palace at home, Brentford at home, Sheffield United away, and then City at home is the 28th of October.
Oh, it's later than I thought.
So, Arsenal and Spurs away, let's be honest, tough games.
Yes.
Burnley away, bit of a tricky one. Just been promoted. I'm not a big fan of Got to Turf Moor, but you never know. I mean, we should be beating them, to be fair. The home games, they're all, until you get to City, ones you would expect United to win.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even the City. To be fair, I expect us to beat anyone at home, but certainly the likes of Wolves, Forest, Brighton and Palace.
You know what we'll be getting to? Is it Arsenal the 4th game?
Yes.
You know what we'll be getting to that Arsenal away game and drop silly points? Do you know what I mean? Like if we've won 3 on the bounce going into the Arsenal game, that's a chance to put a real marker down.
I think, United versus Wolves should be in. It would be one of the starting fixtures that you'd want.
Yeah.
Wolves,
I think, are not, they're done, aren't they?
Wolves are a shell of their former selves. They've sold Neves, they've sold Jimenez. Apparently, they're in a financial situation where they can't really buy players. They could be struggling this season. And
they were looking to get out of the relegation sort of fight, weren't they, late on last season?
Yeah, because
got no excuses against Wolves first
horrible
game.
results. Yeah. The thing is, right, you never know, because I always go on about this, but do you remember, let's cast our minds back to 2014. Louis van Gaal comes in, pre-season.
That USA as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. LA Galaxy, we beat him 7-0. Yeah. Roma, we beat him 3-2. Inter, we beat him on penalties. Real Madrid, we beat him 3-1. The Scousers, we beat them 3-1. Valencia, we beat them 2-1. Yeah. Absolute clean sweep. Yeah, going into the Premier League.
From the World Cup then, wasn't it? Because we were all riding high.
Actually changed.
Yeah. And then, right, you looked at our fixtures, first fixtures. Swansea at home. Yeah. Sunderland, Burnley away. QPR at home. Leicester away. And this is before Leicester had won the league and any of that nonsense. West Ham, Everton, West Brom, Chelsea. You think I think we can win our first 10 games, smash it, and actually 21 is coming. No. Lose at home to Swansea, draw away at Sunderland, draw away at Burnley, win at QPR, and then lose away at Leicester. It was an absolute horror show. After those first
that Leicester game, though, was that Di Maria's goal? Was that the Di Maria?
That was what changed Van Gaal's mind about football. We were in 12th position after that, so it was a bit of a horror show. So you never know. So it's difficult to say. Like you say, Scott, you've got to wait and see what happens with other teams, how the sort of Premier League starts, how it pans out. Certain teams might give you a bit of a surprise. Arsenal was a surprise package last season.
Yeah,
no one saw them doing what they did.
Well, but I don't think there's no reason why we can't do that this season. It's just we can only control what's in front of us in the team we've got. And like I said, I think players like Anthony and Sancho are going to improve. No one. So second. There you go.
Fourth. Third. Right. Let's talk about the Carabao Cup.
Sack it off.
You're saying sack it off. But Erik ten Hag is a man that likes to go for it in the cup competitions. He did it at Ajax. He did it last season at Manchester United. If you look, we got to the quarterfinals of the Europa League, got to the final of the FA Cup, we won the Carabao Cup. He went for it. Was playing a strong team in games where you go in, what's he doing here?
It's Charlton and that.
Yeah, but he obviously had an idea, look, I need to get a trophy here. Maybe, now he's got that trophy, he might change slightly, now he's got Champions League, he might change slightly. I don't see it. I think he will go for it, getting the Carabao Cup. I think he'll see the importance of getting that first trophy and he'll want to retain a trophy he's won. Scotty, what do you think?
Jose used to do that quite a lot, didn't he? Because Jose used to put quite a lot of weight behind the League Cup, didn't he?
I think he rattled Pep as well, because when we won it in 2017, we knocked City out in the early rounds. And I was at the press conference just after we won it at City, and Guardiola's getting a lot of questions about it, like, Jose's just won his first trophy at United. Like, do you regret playing a weakened team against United earlier on in the competition? Because now you could be cited with a bit of silverware.
Yeah.
And then Pep won it the next 5 years in a row, I think, or four or 5 years, I can't remember. But he went for it.
Yeah, they've obviously identified it as it's a cup, isn't it? And I'd be more than happy if United won the Carabao Cup, but I wouldn't want that to be the only thing. I'd hate for us to go all in on all the competitions and come out again with the same sort of same trophies as this season. I'd honestly try and play sort of the reserves or the younger teams that are coming through. I say you tend to, we don't.
But do you think he will?
Do I think he will?
For your prediction, do you think we're gonna? How do you think we'll do in the Carabao Cup? You'd rather see that. I get it.
I think Tenag's probably thinking like David Scott at the moment. To be honest,
Okay.
I think he realised that he's won the Carabao Cup, but I don't think that's going to be enough. I agree with you, that was his sentiment was last year, first year in. It'd be nice to sort of get a cup under the belt, but I just think if it comes to it, and I don't know, the finals February, yeah. So if it's around December time and we're punching a lot of fronts. I just think he might just, semis.
Semis. All right, semis, fair enough. Mr. Brown, what are you saying?
I'll go for, because I don't think we'll prioritise it, but I still think we're good enough, and I think there'll be enough depth in the squad where we get to at least play it safe. I'll go quarters.
Quarters. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, I'm with you to a certain degree, both of you, but I think he'll get that. I think he'll get that itch when he gets to the quarters or the semis.
Really?
Yeah, I think he'll. I don't think you get the quarters and he'll go.
Yeah, but you can get an itch and still lose the quarter.
I know you can, but I think he'll go for it. And I think he will. I think we'll win it. I think he'll retain it. I think he'll know that got a lot of pressure off him winning that trophy last season, and it was an early trophy win, and then you get knocked out of the Europa League in an awful last 10 minutes against Sevilla at home, and then even worse 90 minutes away. You lose the FA Cup final to Manchester City. I'm not saying all is forgiven because it wasn't, but you've won that trophy. You know what I mean? It wasn't just about finishing third. It was about the fact that you got a bit of silverware, and I think he'll want to emulate that. So I'm going to go for I'll go for it in winning it. You've gone semis, you've gone quarters. We're mixing this up nicely. All right, Ronnie, I'll start with you on this one. FA Cup. Get involved in the comments as well. What do you think about the Carabao? Do you think he's going to go for the Carabao? Do you think he's going to bother with it? Do you care about the Carabao?
I think there's a possibility of being around the same in the FA Cup. I'm not sure we get to the final again, no.
Okay.
But there is obviously a trophy mentality that needs to be instilled back into the club, as he said. So I don't think it's one of them where we can look at the lights, the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, and toss it off.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of those cup competitions, it depends on the situation in the Premier League or the Champions League.
That
dictates a lot of what's
it's harder
going on.
The FA Cup to call as well because there's more rounds, obviously.
More teams give a shit about the FA
and it starts
Cup.
later. It starts later in the season.
You can have those quite a few games of where it's difficult one.
I feel like we'd be more likely to go for it in the FA Cup than the Carabao Cup, though.
All right, fair enough.
Do you know what I mean? I think the itch would be more so in the FA Cup than the Carabao Cup, especially because we lost, because we were losing finalists.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You want to put that right. So I'm going to go. I think we'll get to the semi-final of the FA Cup.
Really? Okay.
Wembley again.
Trip to Wembley, semi-final.
I think we'll go out early in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Possible.
I just think you can get difficult draws, and even if it's not against one of the so-called top four teams, if you look at teams like Brighton last season, it very much is that they're one chance of getting success and maybe not finishing in the top four. So I don't know, and I wouldn't be overly upset about it either if we went out of the FA Cup and finished high in the Premier League. I'd take that this season.
Okay,
I'd take second in the Premier League over any other cup except for the Champions League, which is obviously a formality.
Well said. So what round have you?
All right, so I'll go fifth round.
Fifth round of the FA Cup.
Are you right? Am I marking these down? Is Ethan writing these down?
We'll remember them. Really? do write them down actually. Make a note. We'll go over them a recap. So I'll recap them for you, Ethan. I know you've written them down anyway, but I'm going to recap them. In the Premier League, Scotty said second, Ronnie said fourth, and I said third. In the Carabao Cup, Ronnie said the quarterfinals, Scotty said the semi-finals, and I said winning it. In the FA Cup, Scotty said the fifth round, and you said the semis. And I'm going to go. I think it might be something like the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. I think you might have a point here. And I also think away from home, our record ain't great. And I think if we get a tough one away from home, we might come unstuck a little bit in the FA Cup where we go.
Do you feel that's going to be the case this season?
I don't think it'll be as bad as last season. If it was, then I'd probably give up. But I still think I still think it might be tricky for us. I don't think you just get over that and all of a sudden
No.
your away form is amazing. So I just feel it might be difficult. So I'm going to go quarters. Let us know what you think. I'd love us to win the FA Cup, but it's a massive trophy, and it's a shame our record in the FA Cup has gone to the dogs. It used to be mint. At one point, we won it more times than anyone else, and now somehow it's Arsenal. Tina Telefson Toka says we have a stronger squad this season, and we have a number 9. And if Sophie and Amrabat comes, we can go deep in all comps. Akon Electron says silverware over top 4 every time. Jamie Stanley says would rather a strong Champions League run than FA Cup. Haven't got the squad to compete for everything. Jamie Stanley also says second in Carabao Cup or FA. Ocean Man says we're winning it all. Nicely done. Right, let's talk about the Champions League then, because we've covered the Premier League, we've covered the FA Cup, we've covered the Carabao Cup. What do you think about the Champions League? How are Manchester United going to do in the Champions League? Scotty, I'll start with you.
Honestly?
Yeah, honestly. We pride ourselves on honesty on this channel.
I think Manchester United can win the Champions League. I'll even go out all out there. And I say I think Manchester United will win the Champions League.
You are going to look like Nostradamus' better older brother.
Oh, just something else that begins with N-O-B.
Yeah, that gets nice. When that gets...
I'm glad I had
listen, I got 2 predictions very different from that.
Right, that's going to get clipped up when we do win it. You're going, we win it, okay? I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's doable. It's a cup competition, and look at some of the teams that have won it. Yes, it's not, what's
the point in being a football?
No, but you mentioned Man City, right? That's a fair comment. But look at some of the other teams other than Man City. How often, right? Genuinely, how often do the best team in Europe win the Champions League? It's like 2 out of every 3 seasons.
It's still always like a Real Madrid.
No, but it's 2 out of 3
Yeah,
every
but
3
if you
seasons.
look, Manchester United this season, going into this season, are better. In fact, we've got the goalkeeper of the team that went to the Champions League final last season.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Inter Milan got to the final, so I don't think there's any reason why Man United couldn't get there.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point.
But Inter Milan went toe-to-toe with City as well, though. It looked decent, to be honest.
Yeah.
So they might not have been as bad as we thought. But with the Champions League, I honestly think United's squad and the way we've played and the philosophy we've had for the past 4 or 5 years, I thought we were tailor-made for the Champions League in terms of being counter-attack, being transitional and playing with the kind of pace that a lot of these teams in Europe aren't used to. But at the same time, I think our defensive frailties and the lack of concentration we have sometimes and the amount of chances we give away, I feel like you're more likely to get punished in the Champions League with them. So
that was the case with that Europa League this year.
Yeah, so I think I've got 2 predictions, and they just depend on the group we're given.
Okay.
I think the best we can hope for is the last 16 in the Champions League.
That's best.
Yes, and I think if we have a pretty tough group, I think United could possibly do the whole finish third and drop to Europa.
I can't be doing Europa again.
Oh mate, imagine. Jesus.
I can see
Do you not think though, if like last year, Barcelona were one of the best teams in Europe, and how well we played against them last season? If you use that as a barometer of the style of play that we might have against the elite in Europe. When we played Barcelona last year in the Europa League, if we use them as some sort of like barometer of about the best teams in Europe and we can play against them, and we were better than both games.
I think we're better than at the new camp. I thought they were better than us at OT though. Even though we escaped. I think, I think they struggled with what I said, where I feel like our countering and transitional ability in Rashford, they struggled to deal with Rashford as well.
Yeah.
I believe that, but the thing is, I think United can get caught out by lesser teams than that though.
That's the,
I think United could rise to play in the likes of Barcelona.
We like open teams, don't we? I mean, that's the same in the league, though, isn't it? That's the thing that tonight's got to try and conquer this season, is this inability to break down teams that play, compact football.
Right, okay.
I'd rather play against Barcelona than the likes of an Atalanta, etc. Where it's a team that decently play good football, and you won't sometimes have the same type of motivation going into the game, and they can put 3 past you, and then it's like, oh, you've lost 3-1 because you weren't ready. Do you know what I mean?
Perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've said. Remind me, sorry.
Well, he's just changed my mind.
No, you can't change my mind. Don't even putting him off.
I said we're going to. It's at Wembley this year, isn't it?
It's meant to happen.
No, that's crap.
So we won our first European Cup.
So,
and you're saying last 16.
Last 16 at best.
At best.
If we have a tough, if we get given a group
when is
of
the
death.
Draw?
I don't know. That's a good.
When's
point.
the draw, Ethan?
Yeah, let's have a look. I've got a bit of Champions League draw. Oh, hang on.
7th. Oh, it's
That's
the playoff round.
Oh, is it?
So
Right.
they're still doing the players.
Oh yeah, it's the 31st, I think of.
August.
Oh, so the while off, yeah.
Yeah, I think we've got 31st of August. I again appreciate what both of you have said, and I'm not just saying this on purpose. I'm kind of going to split it slightly. I think we're going to have a good run in the Champions League. I don't think we'll win it. I think we'll have a run though, and I think that run will get everyone going. Do you know what I mean? Everyone will be like, do you know what, this guy's.
But do you not think that'll knock off the, like Ronaldo was saying, like when we look at the Champions League, we're in it. It might have a knock on effect.
I've got Motty. This is not what I've called him Motty because he's combined his names and that. You know?
Yeah.
I've got Scotty. I've got you doubtful now, innit? I've put like all in. I've instilled some pessimism.
Listen,
yeah, for someone so young.
Don't let it.
I'm a cynic in here, Ronaldo.
Yeah,
I think I've just made you really cynical.
Out cynicking Scotty.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. I'm gonna go semis, and I think we'll be. Although you'd be gutted to lose semi, I think that'll be like wow, that is mint.
Oh,
First
yeah,
season
yeah,
back
yeah,
in
yeah.
the Champions League, and it's our best performance in it since Fergie. Love that. I think that can happen. Honestly, there's lots of ifs and buts and maybe. The draw, injuries, how we turn up at Old Trafford. Our Old Trafford record's been really good. You know, is that going to carry us through certain fixtures? That kind of thing. So you can never sort of know what's going to happen, but. I just fancy Eric Ten Hag to do well in that competition. Declan Laird says, Jay, you're spot on. I'm a believer. Semi-final. David Harrington says Spurs have rejected Bayern's final offer for Kane. Leave it till last week and chuck in 100 million. Yeah, I'd love to see that happen. Don't think it will.
Is that really though? Bayern Munich concerned?
I think Ornstein.
That's interesting.
Bayern Munich have seen latest offer came rejected by Spurs after proposals in June and July turned down. Bayern were £25 million short of Spurs' valuation.
Euros. Is it pounds or euros?
It's pounds there.
Does that confuse you in the Twitter, like the difference?
Yeah.
People just decide when and where they want to use euros or pounds, innit?
Wow. Talks last week led to improved bid, but this has now been knocked back too. There was talk that Bayern Munich that was it. They were going to walk away. Yeah, so I don't know if I read that, but I'll say it again anyway. Jerome T. Green, Ten Hag got to the semis with a very young Ajax squad. I'm still fuming about that game against Spurs. I think they've done the Scousers. I do. Just wasn't to be, was it? Spurs didn't even turn
Then
up.
you
couldn't trust Spurs to do
Oh, no. Spurs,
I mean.
Spurs didn't even trust Spurs.
Spurs were like, we got to the final, we've done it now.
Yeah.
It don't matter if we win or lose. Like, what are you on about?
They were like, wait, we got a chance to win the trophy. We don't do that.
That's not us. That's not the Spurs way. So yeah, it was a bit annoying. I'll go a little recap before we get our Wallies of the week. So in the FA Cup, Ronnie's gone for the semi, I think, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the League Cup, he's gone... start again. Right, FA Cup. Right, Ronnie's gone semi, Scotty's gone 5th round, I've gone quarterfinals. In the Premier League, Scotty's gone 2nd, I've gone 3rd, Ronaldo's gone 4th. The Carabao Cup, Scotty's gone semi-finals, I've gone us winning it, Ronaldo's got us getting to the quarterfinals. In the Champions League, Ronaldo thinks we'll get into the round of 16, I think we'll get into the semis, and Scotty, my formerly cynical friend, thinks we will win it. He said 4 is coming, yeah? It's happening.
You see what someone without watching football does for you?
He said, yeah.
Ask me again in September.
Ask him on the 31st of August.
Relegation!
When the draw's been done. Hey,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
And the group's like,
Hang on a minute. Can we delete that video? It's too late, it's going to be clipped up. Have faith. We've not done our other stuff here as well before. I forgot about this. So let's get into this. Right. Who do you think United's top scorer will be? We'll whiz through some of these. Last season, it was Marcus Rashford, both in the Premier League and in all competitions. Who do you see being our top scorer this coming season, Scotty?
Easy that.
Rashford again.
Yeah,
Rashford
again.
Yeah?
It'll be Rashford again. Especially because Rashford's the one guy on the team that has the ability to he doesn't even have to play well. He's a constant goal threat.
I don't see Hojlund banging him in. I'm not to that extent. I think he'll get goals. I don't see Sancho making that leap. I don't see Garnacho, and I don't see Antony. Maybe Bruno can begin the conversation, but I doubt it. I doubt he's going to get to the extreme, so I think that's a safe bet.
If Rashford isn't the leading goal scorer for United
That's
next
a good
season,
question.
we've had a really bad season. That's.
Nah, I think
Hojlund's had a worldie.
I think Hojlund will.
I think he'll score, but I don't think.
I think he'll get in between the 10 and 15 goals range.
But you'd hope. But Rashford's got to score more.
Because I'm not sure that he's going to start week in week out. Hojlund.
Well, he's missing first two anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, who do you think he'll get the most assists? Last season it was Bruno. Who are you going for this season? Eriksen probably would have had it if he hadn't got injured. Yeah.
That's Bruno.
Right. Oh, in fact, I've missed some questions out here. Sorry. How many goals are we thinking Hojlund will score?
I said that.
In all competitions.
Between 10 and...
In all competitions?
Yeah. In all comps?
Yeah, I'll go 17.
It's decent.
Between 10 and 15.
In all comps?
Yeah.
Okay. So, forget who's going to get the most assists. Just answer this. How many assists do you think Mason Mount's going to get?
Apparently Mason Mount hasn't got double figures assists in quite a few years, and apparently doesn't get a lot of assists in open play either. I think there's a chance Mount might get more goals than he does assists.
Okay.
He seems that player, but I'm going to go for 8 assists, Mason Mount.
Scotty, not a bad shout.
I'm going to go 11. Oh, no, in all competitions.
Right, you're going 11. You're going 8. Okay. I'll go... I don't know. I'm going to go with 6. Yeah, I don't know. I think he can have a good season. I'm not sure he'll be banging or be creating loads of chances. Who do you reckon will be the player of the season for Manchester United?
The player of the season? Martinez. Martinez or Onana.
Love that. What do you reckon, Scotty?
I don't know. I was going outside better. I think Sancho's looked pretty decent in pre-season.
Yeah. Oh, little bit of a cheeky one there. I'm going to go with Bruno Fernandes, you know. Yeah. I do. I think Bruno will be our player of the year. Get involved in the comments. I'm going to run through some of the comments. Ocean Man says, Hojlund 17 goals, all comps, 5 assists. Dylan N says 10 for Mount when talking about assists. Ben says Onana with 4 assists. Niall B, Jamie Stanley, Ocean Man, and Knights all say, Knight says Bruno, all the others were mentioned said Onana, player of the year. Sumker Deek says Garnacho. Daniel Berry says Hojlund. Ross Murphy says Bruno. Acorn Electron says Garnacho. Jordan Clark says Bruno. Yip Yap says Rashford. Loads of people giving different opinions on who will be our player of the year. From player of the year to Wally of the week, Ronaldo Brown, who's your Wally of the week and why?
Wally of the week, there's always a few. I'm going to go Arsenal as a club.
I knew you were going to say, I was thinking that. I knew you was going to say, I was thinking could I go with Arsenal fans, but you've sort of got...
I just don't even have to really give an explanation for that, because Arsenal could be Wally of the week weekly.
Yeah, they could. I mean, it's always a safe bet, that.
So it's a safe
Arsenal.
bet.
You don't even have to explain it. Just go Arsenal. Yeah, okay, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's shocking. Scotty, you going with for Wally of the week?
Was it famous footballers or something?
Yeah, anyone, anything. We've had all sorts.
All right, I'll go with Ronaldo Brown.
Wow.
Because of his lack of ability to, do the jet lag thing. Well tried. Valiant effort.
I think that might be a first where we've had someone pick someone else who's on the podcast with us.
I don't think you'll find another 24-year-old man that goes to Vegas for the first time and then goes to bed at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night.
There you go. He's definitely the Wally of the week.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know who I'm gonna have as Wally of the week?
Do you regret that then?
Nah, because I made up for it.
Did you?
Did we ever mention
24-hour city?
Yeah.
Was you there in that supermarket with that woman?
Yeah.
Did we ever make her Wally of the week?
Yeah, she had to be Wally of the week.
Yeah, man. I don't know if we did it on another podcast, but I'm going to do it now.
I wish I recorded that.
Mate, it was so bizarre. We went into the supermarket and it was self-serve and we put all our shopping in a bag and we got another bag, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we scanned the bags and we put all our shopping in a second and then she started kicking off with us saying, you've not scanned the second bag.
She started off aggy anyway. When we walked over all together, she shouted over and goes, there's other checkouts, by the way. Because she thought we weren't together. Yeah. And then we said to her, we're together.
Yeah.
She just got a face like a slapped ass.
Yeah, she looked fuming. She looks a bit like...
What, because you were all together?
Stressed. She just looked stressed. I feel like she's just in a bad mood. And then we scanned the extra bag and then she covered and she goes, make sure you scan the other bag. And we're like, we've scanned it. She was like, well, I don't see it on my machine.
She had a thing there.
Oh, checking what you've gone through.
Yeah.
And I was like pointing. I could see it. I was like, there. And then we were pointing. And then she went and called security, didn't she? And Steve was there. Steve's like...
We kept saying to her...
Just on the right side of keeping his temperature. Yeah, he's getting angry now. Like, anyway, now he's going to say something which shifts the sort of...
You could literally see the extra bag pointing. And I think she kept looking and saying she couldn't see it. And I think what happened is she's one of those... women that like one of those people.
I'm worried when you say long gloves.
That like gets. Do you know when people are angry or they're like kind of stubborn?
Yeah.
So I think she's seen it on the screen that she's wrong.
But
she must have seen it. I could see it, and I'm blind. Rather see it.
Rather
than screen.
Rather than admitting that she was wrong,
yeah,
she kept just trying to argue the point instead. She was like, she started going a little bit backward. She was like, I can see what you're saying, but it's not on my screen.
Yeah,
I can see what you're saying, but it's not on my screen.
I can see you seeing this, but it's definitely not.
It's not.
I could see it, and we were describing it. And then
someone came out from the back.
Yeah, like, I can see security to come and check.
And said, "Hey, I can see it," and he just walked off.
He got about 2 meters away. I can see it, and then walked. Like, you can see it straight away.
Yeah.
And then you could see she was fuming, wasn't she? And she looked like the kind of person that wasn't scared to have a bit of a ruckus. She had tattoos all over her face. She was looked like someone who, you know what I mean, wasn't afraid of
she was like an edgy Karen.
Yeah,
and then edgy Karen. Wow.
You know, and it was like, but it was one of those where after you could tell she already knew that she was wrong, but she just was arguing it. But then I said to these, I was like, you know what? Sometimes I feel like you just don't know what people are going through in it. So like, I think she was
in her defence as well. Yeah. You use memory of something of edgy Karen. I think another Wally of the week can be me and you at that Dortmund game, because we was in hospitality, weren't we? And we went to our seats in hospitality. Sat in our seats in hospitality.
Oh, this Mexican family.
Yeah, this Mexican family were like all around us. And then there's some of them that came and said, "You're in our seats," and we were like,
"No, we're not.
These are our seats." Right? So they went away, and then they were talking amongst themselves, and then they came back, and they were like, the woman was like, "No, I think you're in our seats." And we're like, "We're not.
We're not." And we was giving the attitude.
Yeah, she went.
So it wasn't me, by the way. That was Wally of the week for this. This was Jay. Because Jay gave me the wrong.
No, I gave you the right seats, but you went and sat in the wrong ones.
No, we both went.
We both went.
You was like, this is where we sat.
I said this.
So I've just followed Jay.
And
then Jay walked off. So it's Jay, not me.
You're nominating yourself.
Yeah, I'm nominating myself. He's right on this one. But it was worse because we were proper like thinking we can't sit here in this hospitality, thinking these are our seats. And then she went, that section's over there. And we looked, and we thought it was. It was like, oh my God. I'm sorry, we're just so apologetic as well. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
like,
so
sorry. And it was dead
proper
nice.
Cute family, cute Mexican family.
And they were like, "Oh, don't worry about it." I was like, if that had been me, my family would have been raging. Do you know what I mean? So we had to sort of walk past sheep. I'm sorry. I like. There's like the grandma of the group. Like, no. Because she was the one that said, and I gave her a bit of a like, I'm sat here, but like with a bit of edge, but not too much. Yeah.
So after that, I was like, I'm so sorry. She's like, it's fine.
Mate, it was so funny that game. It was so bizarre that game. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it was all happening. I remember, go and check out the members vlog where you'll see more of that stuff. If you're not a member, have a look at it anyway. Extra content, vlogs and behind the scenes stuff on there. Either way, make sure you are subscribing to the channel. Go and check out Manscaped as well as link in the description. 20% off and free shipping. Big thank you to them for sponsoring our podcast. Scotty, where can people find you? In fact,
I'll be on the Scotty and Motty podcast, our YouTube channel, within the next couple of hours, I think, can't we?
Yeah, we will be. We'll be on there. There's a little link. I'll put a little link to our Patreon in there. So go and check that out. There's a link in the chat. For Scotty and Motty, myself, and Scotty will be live on that channel later on. Ronnie, where can people find you?
Ronaldo Brown _98 on the X.
On the X. No longer the bird up man, on the X. That's been Ronaldo. That's been Scotty. I've been Jay. This has been the Paddock Podcast. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.